Everybody out there, all my MDK gang members out there, go check out Cold TV. I checked it out myself. That shit's dope as hell.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60, where we talk about everything that happened in the world of professional wrestling this past week in 60 minutes or less. I'm XLJ, the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Mr. Broll.
How are we doing out there, world? And I got to say something. If that intro does not get you hyped, like there's something wrong with you, man. Like there's something wrong. Like if someone's sitting there not getting hyped from that intro, I don't know. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to be their friend.
Goosebumps. No. Man, oh man, but it was such a busy week in the world of professional wrestling. It is a busy time right now. So much is going on. So B-roll, I'll let you get your line in.
Let me get my line in because we got to give the people what they want here at PW60, and the clock starts now.
And our top story of what the fuck is this? Like
Kylo.
The cat is the top story.
Kylo comes home. You see here at PW60, we not only report everything, but we also follow up on
this was
stories
our last
from previous
story from last week.
That's right. So
Kylo has come home. That sounds like a prequel to Star Wars or something in the newer ones they're doing. Kylo comes home, or maybe they can do it like the fourth one or whatever the fuck it is. But yeah.
Well, they made like the art of Kylo Returns.
Oh my God, you made it like Mickey Mouse ears here. Are you kidding me? Beautiful. Okay, that's a chef's kiss right there. But yes, the cats come home in case you all wanted to know. But that's not our real top story this week. Our real top story, it is official, folks. It's happening. AEW Collision is coming to TNT Saturday nights. Premieres June the 17th at 8 p.m. Central. I would have preferred a 6:05 time slot like everybody else, but that's okay. We're not doing Turner time anymore. But you got to give them kudos, though, for this graphic, because this is a huge throwback to like WCW Nitro.
Yes. That logo, it looks fire. Oh, man. It is just, and I mean, it shows you an interesting. I mean, you assume that these are going to be on it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So, I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks here on PW60. They did make it official this past Wednesday at the Turner Upfronts. Now,
worst kept secret ever.
Like, it was inevitable. But the one thing that hasn't been announced or released or anything was any information regarding the AEW's media's right deal, whether or not what that's going to consist of with Turner, what that amount may be, et cetera, et cetera. But we do know that Collision is coming on Saturday nights. Now, it's also been rumored and discussed that they will possibly be taping Ring of Honor episodes at Collision. Which
that was interesting because I had not heard that. So.
Yeah. So they are talking like they are going to do ROH shows. I mean, if you've been to an AEW show, you know, typically they will do. They used to do AEW Dark, and then before Dynamite, and then Rampage. But now I think they're just doing Dynamite and Rampage essentially. So it kind of makes sense with their current model. What it is now. The plan is this Wednesday, I believe is what Tony Khan said. He'll have another major announcement. But no, I believe the plan is they're going to be probably going to the United Center. But there's a possibility that may not happen, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Daly's Place is the backup for AEW Collision, and they've already announced some dates too for Collision tapings as well, as you can see here. They're going to be doing a lot in Canada, of course. Like pretty much this June into July, they're going to pretty much be in like Canada there for like a couple weeks, I believe.
Yeah, and now it kind of makes a little bit more. Oh, that's interesting. They're taping one on a Thursday. Interesting.
Oh, they are.
I just
Okay.
noticed that.
I just noticed that myself. Okay.
But
Probably because they're in Canada for Dynam. I imagine that like they're probably doing a loop. I imagine that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, it makes sense with the Owen Hart tournament now too. It makes
Just
more
thinking
sense.
that, yeah, because
Yeah.
now you've got 2 shows it can span across too as
Yeah.
well. So, but yeah, these tickets are on sale now at aewtix.com or at Ticketmaster. But yeah, we are supposed to find out apparently this Wednesday where Collision's going to be, the first one, and a lot of us really, and it still looks like it's going to be the United Center. But folks, there is a reason why that may not happen.
Yep. And we're not quite there yet though, because we are going to get into one more thing that came out of the upfronts. It was announced that AEW All Access, the first season, which already is complete, it's a kind of like a short series, but it will be going up on HBO Max, or I guess they're shortening it to Max or something now. I don't know. I mean, I pay for it, but I don't know. But yeah, so that's cool, and I feel like that's a good sign, because that probably means that more is to come.
Yeah, I think hopefully, like all of us really hope that all their library is going to end up over there, as well as like kind of like similar like Peacock or something, and
Well,
with
I mean,
WWE.
as someone who's a new fan, like that's what I would love to go back and watch, like AEW Dynamites from the
Hmm.
very beginning.
Oh yeah, man. And then you can also watch like some of their pay-per-views, as well as like some of their first shows, like when they very first started.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And plus too, the pay-per-views going monthly, that would be pretty sweet. But yes, you're right. This is
yeah.
a good sign of things to come for Max. But let's get back to it. Let's explain to the world why. Because of this fucking asshole. Yes, the CM Punk drama continues. Hooray. Now let me rephrase that. I know we've talked about him a lot lately. I don't hate Punk. I really don't. But I am so goddamn sick and tired of just like all this entire story just going fucking back and forth of like, okay,
Uh-huh.
he's coming. Okay, now he's not. So the stuff that broke out this week is apparently supposedly Ace Steel is back with AEW, but he's not. So there's been some rumors saying that he works at home, that he's working at
Mhm.
home and is helping with creative. There's also saying like, no, he's not back, and they're not going to rehire him. But Punk coming back to AEW was part of like Ace Steel was going to be rehired back in, and I will say this, like let me say this, it's not just Punk. I don't want to throw Punk under the bus. It's not just Punk. It is the fucking like the wrestling journalists who are
Yeah.
just like this is just like this is in comparison to like the news nowadays in the world, you know. I don't even watch the evening news because it's too damn depressing and sensationalized. And that's what's happening with this story is it's just like getting way too sensationalized. Who knows what the fucking truth is? I want to see him just get in there. I mean, it's inevitable. He's coming back one way or another. I mean, let's face facts. Whether you love him, hate him, or whatever, CM Punk is coming back. Now, there also was talks that the feud with Jericho may not happen now. They're talking, and not so much because they have a beef, but Punk just wants to do other stuff, like mainly feud with Samoa Joe to come back. And then the rumor is that Punk would go after MJF's World Heavyweight Championship, which that would be interesting too. But I don't know. Like, I feel like we've talked about this guy way too much. I just want to get him back in AEW, back on a regular schedule, and none of this fucking drama shit, man. Because
Yep.
it's just stupid.
It really it really is. And yeah, no more
Yeah,
could be
no
said.
more.
No more could be said about it. So let's move on to something positive.
Yeah, and there is one thing with this, and let's go ahead. Yes, let's talk about it. The Elite are back, and what I want to talk about that was positive is Kenny cut a unique promo at the end of Dynamite, essentially.
Yes.
Pretty much just stating, kind of like talking about squash and beef and stuff, which, like, you know, storyline wise, it's obviously meant for like Hangman, which that's the way more important story here. But also, it's kind of, is this a metaphor for the elite Punk, maybe squashing their beef? Who knows? Once again, fucking done talking about CM Punk. Let's talk about this though. This is the moment you've been waiting for a long time, B-roll. We got to watch this together, and we popped so hard when Hangman came out with that eye patch, that badass eye patch, and the Elite is back, baby, and they are going to be going to Double or Nothing against the Blackpool Combat Club and Anarchy in the Arena. What do you make of all this, B-roll?
Oh, it's going to be freaking mass chaos. I mean, chef's kiss with Kenny, like just handing him
the broom,
the
barbed wire,
like the perfect amount of hesitation.
Yeah,
and then it's just like,
yeah. This was great to see these guys back. This is long overdue.
The
way they, go ahead.
I was gonna say it was compared to, and it was that significant of a moment for me too. Of like when Captain America and Endgame is like Avengers, assemble. I mean, that's what it was.
And I can tell you this reason why this worked so well. I have a little inside information on this. I don't know if you know about B-roll, but our good close personal friend, Best Scout Machine, actually was the choreographer for this segment on Dynamite. And believe it or not, we've got some behind the scenes footage. So let's take a look at that right now.
What is up, my babies? I am the notorious BGM, and you are... I'm just kidding. I know it's Hangman, Kenny, Matt, Nick. Nick, get that stupid look off your face! Alright, listen, folks. We're here to choreograph, to come up with this amazing reuniting of the Elite. And I'm here to choreograph the whole thing, because I'm a famous wrestling choreographer. I gave Fandango his dance moves. I taught the great Muda to spew green mist. I did not teach him how to do red, but the green, taught him. Alright? So at one point, guys, I need, like, after the BCC attacks you guys, and then Hangman comes out, and everyone's like, oh, they're together. I need you guys to get into the ring, and I want you to channel something iconic. Like, I want you to be inspired by, like, a famous movie. Like, I need you all up in there like, this is Sparta! Nah, that's a little too on the nose. How about, I'm too drunk to taste this chicken! Like, Hangman, baby, I need you to go up in there and just channel, like, I don't know, like, you put the lotion on skin, or I think it's the hose again. Put the fucking lotion in the basket! Shania Twain! Hello! I don't know, guys, we've tried everything, and I can't get us to come up with something inspirational. Like, I can't think of any movies from recently that we can just, I don't know, I just want something iconic. I feel like we need to get something from, you know, it's in the brain of, like, the current zeitgeist. I don't even know if I said that word right. Damn it, Nick! Why are you looking at me like that? But I think, it's somewhere. It's somewhere. But guys, let's take a 10. I'm gonna go in my trailer right now that Tony Khan paid and just watch the rest of Avengers Endgame. Wait a second. I've got it. Hangman, baby, I'm gonna need you to look at me right in the eye. With both of them! Nick, stop looking stupid! And I want you to say, we are... And everyone's gonna go, the Elite! And everyone is going to just jizz themselves silly. I already did myself. Nick, come over here and clean this up. Round of applause to all of you. Chef's kiss. That was done to absolute perfection. Each and every one of you played your parts the way it was meant to be played, except for you, Nick, because you're constantly pissing me off. And I want you to go and tell everyone that BGM, yes, the notorious BGM, came here and helped all of you make a baby. Congratulations, the Elite is back. Everybody, mambo!
Super.
Oh my god.
Pascal, he nailed it. He did such a good job.
What does he have against Nick Jackson?
Well, he was looking at him funny, so I can't say I blame him. Well, on a sadder side of news, we found out last week actually that apparently doctors are advising Randy Orton to retire. I mean, you hate to see this, but at the same time, too, as long as Randy Orton is healthy and happy, that's the most important thing here. Because the thing of it is, it's not really going to matter if Randy Orton wrestles one more match or another couple years or whatever. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he has done it all literally in his career. He is one of the all-time greats. I mean, I'd love to see him again, like the selfish side of me, but most importantly, I want to see him healthy and happy. So, what do you think of this? What do you make of this, B-roll?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because the time I came into being a fan, I didn't have very much of Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But knowing the history, I mean, honestly, I was always a fan of him being the one to like break Ric Flair's record.
There's a lot of talk about that. I mean, obviously that may not happen now. So, I think that would be like the only real accolade left he would have to achieve. But he does. The thing is, if he achieves it, does that like cement his status all the more? No, I don't
No,
think. No
yeah,
matter what Randy Orton does, like it's not going to change the fact that like he is one of the
yeah,
goats, one of the all-time greats. And I mean, like I say, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and you cannot dispute or deny that.
yeah.
So,
It is just crazy because and it speaks to how the rumor mill can go because you heard at around Mania time,
like he was back.
he'd
Yeah.
be back and he'd be back soon.
hmm
Um,
Now we got this.
so
So.
basically, what we're telling you kids is you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Because remember, it's like Sting said, the only thing that's sure is nothing's for sure. And speaking of not being for sure, there is also some issues going on with one Drew McIntyre, as he has not been on television recently. Apparently, there is some issues as far as like with WWE creative, as far as like how they're going to use him or would bring him back into the fold. As we all know, his contract is coming up to where there's still this question of like, is Drew going to resign with the WWE or not? B-roll, if you was a betting man, would you bet Drew McIntyre stays with WWE or does he take his sword and go elsewhere?
I think he stays.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I mean, obviously, we all know if he was to jump anywhere, it probably would be AEW because I mean he's such a megastar. I still feel like Drew needs that damn definitive WWE championship run,
Yes.
like especially like with the fans there. I mean, I think it'd be even great too if he won the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Here's like a little bit of a hot takes or some fantasy booking. Let's say like Seth wins it at Night of Champions, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens if like Drew comes out or something and challenges him to a match or like,
What
or does something and like maybe wins Money in the Bank or something and
what
ends
show
up
was he
cashing
drafted
in.
to?
It was Raw. He is on Raw. So bring Drew.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what if you brought Drew back in as like a heel? That would be interesting to me. But I don't know. Time will tell on what's going to happen with Drew McIntyre. But even some more sad news, man. Man, these are just bummer ones, back to back to back. The women's tag team championships have been vacated in the WWE due to Liv Morgan sustaining an injury in a tag match that Raquel and Liv had with Damage Control. Also, to be noted in that matchup, Dakota Kai was injured in that matchup
Yeah.
as well. So we definitely want to wish them both a speedy recovery. And apparently, the tag team titles have now been declared vacant and will be decided in a four-team elimination match on Raw in a couple weeks that will involve Damage Control, of course, Io and Bailey, along with Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, as well as Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler and Raquel and a partner of her choosing, which I mean, come on, man. I think it's plain as day. Ronda and Shayna are going to win that, but we'll see. But unfortunately, came all too short too soon. Hey, speaking of Monday Night Raw, let's talk about the rest of what happened this week on Monday Night Raw. So you had I tell you, man, it is like faction city over on Raw right now. It feels like you get that 5-man because you got Imperium doing their thing. You got the Judgment Day just running wild. How about
Yeah.
with Imperium being hired apparently by Paul Heyman,
Yep.
the Bloodline?
Like this Raw, like you had to like be paying close attention because you had Paul Heyman being sneaky. Because I don't know if you caught this, but he was in the background while Becky was doing a backstage promo talking to Finn and Damian Priest, and then you got the big shot of him talking with Imperium.
Yeah, I didn't catch that part, but
which
they're
all played a role in your main event, and then you had JD McDonough. When it pans away, you see Finn. Like,
love the Easter eggs, man. Love it. So I thought Raw was a solid show, honestly. I thought it was really good. But to me, I think match of the night had to have been that Intercontinental title battle royale. And man, oh man, how about the winner of the battle royal?
Because what you gonna do when Mustafa Mania runs wild on you, brother?
There you go. I know it's making the Wrestle Talk drip pretty much see Mustafa Ali win that battle royal. And he is our wrestler of the week. But B-roll, I think he just pretty much guaranteed himself a beating at Night of Champions against Gunther.
Yeah, but I mean, what a moment though. Still,
it was a pretty cool moment nonetheless. But Raw, I thought Raw was a great show, but equally good this week too. I thought SmackDown was a good show as well. I mean, SmackDown, you had a lot going on there too. You had the Roman and Solo Sikoa confrontation with Sami and KO building to their match at Night of Champions. Pretty Deadly making their main roster debut, defeating the Brawling Brutes, which I'm so happy to see that. Also, speaking of making their main roster debut, Grayson Waller effect with AJ Styles. You had LA Knight and Rick Boogs against the Street Profits, and that didn't really work out for Rick Boogs as LA Knight ended up jumping him after the match. And the Usos dropping one to the LWO. A little surprising there, but all in all, I think SmackDown was a great show.
Usos are in the doghouse for sure.
They're not feeling Usy. And as we're heading into Night of Champions, we did get some additional matches announced this week as well. Of course, we already know about the tag title, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Cody and Brock. We do now, as we said earlier, we're getting Gunther and Mustafa Ali for the Intercontinental Championship. And we are getting a WrestleMania rematch between Bianca Belair and Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. And Miss Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus are going to go one-on-one over in Saudi Arabia. And I'm sure there's going to be some more matches to come, but time will tell as we are getting down to the wire to Night of Champions. Well, hey, B-Roll, it's come that time of the show. It's time to go to the 5 count with Extreme League Wrestling.
After this week, if CM Punk in the woods, do the Dirt Sheets report on it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the 5 count where I go over this week's top 5 pro wrestling news stories in under 5 minutes. Because I don't know if this is kayfabe or if I'm being gaslit. Number 1, CM Punk collides with AEW. As AEW has announced the long-awaited Saturday night program Collision, the long-awaited brand split does seem more likely now. But what seems a lot unsure now is Cookie Monster Punk's relationship with All Elite Wrestling. Whether it's Jim and Pam or Ross and Rachel, everyone has a great will they won't they relationship, and I think we have something really blossoming here with CM Punk and AEW. Look, overall, so many things have happened it would take me way longer than 5 minutes to explain, but here are a few bullet points. CM Punk went on a lengthy Instagram rant about parasocial relationships between wrestlers and fans. Ace Steel has apparently been taking something from the pandemic and working from home with AEW Creative, and Warner Bros. Discovery did announce that CM Punk would be a part of the new AEW television product, but then had to later retract that CM Punk was not going to be affiliated with it. And while drama-filled headlines have hit the dirt sheets, I think there's something we're not really paying attention to here. Warner Bros. Discovery is one of the biggest names in entertainment. Not to also mention, since the purchase of Warner Brothers by Discovery, they have had some financial pitfalls. So needless to say, in the corporate entertainment world, they really need to hit some home runs right now. Now, in the position that all parties are in, I don't believe the fact that CM Punk would accidentally be put on some type of advertisement for AEW Collision. As we remember, CM Punk's return to professional wrestling was one of the biggest open secrets at the time. I'm not saying this whole situation is 100% a work, but my tinfoil hat is on for a little bit of this. But who knows, maybe Warner Discovery is that stupid. They did take Infinity Train off of HBO Max. Number 2, AEW's brand split. A full-on 100% brand split has been floated around since the rumors of AEW Collision first popped up a few months ago. And completely ignoring the backstage reasons why there might be talent who need to be separated, it honestly isn't a bad idea with AEW's roster size. It is going to be great to see people like Thunder Rosa, Andrade El Idolo, and Miro, God's gift to man, back on our screens on weekly television. Something I did find interesting in the original marketing for Collision kinda had me wondering something. If you noticed, Orange Cassidy and MJF are prominently placed in the center of the graphic, both with their title belts. I might be reading a little bit too much into this, but could we see the AEW International title become the main prize of AEW Collision? Orange Cassidy is defending the title at Double or Nothing this next weekend in a giant battle royal, so could we see someone like Andrade El Idolo or Miro beat him for the title and become world champion of this new show? Okay, that's it, the tinfoil hat needs to go away now. Number 3, Sami Zayn and Saudi Arabia. Fun fact, I record these on Friday nights, so I kinda just spontaneously talked about Sami Zayn wrestling in Saudi Arabia and didn't go, oh, we've never seen that before, for obvious reasons. Well, I hope you had this on your 2023 bingo card because Saudi Arabia and Syria have resumed diplomatic relations after a decade-long freeze. Which, much like our first story, will take way longer than 5 minutes to explain, but for way more morally dubious reasons. But things have seemed to improve enough to where Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens feel comfortable doing the Saudi Arabia shows. Support Sami for Syria and let Sami pin Roman, you cowards. Number 4, AEW's disappointing ticket sales. It's a busy time in the land of Elite, with Forbidden Door 2 right around the corner, Collision on the horizon, and also a show in Wembley Stadium to look forward to. And it's been such a busy time, I wouldn't blame me if you forgot, Double or Nothing is next weekend. It was reported by the Wrestling Observer newsletter that AEW still has around 2,000 tickets still available for the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And mind you, the term disappointing here is in giant quotation marks. To be fair, selling over 7,000 tickets is nothing to sneeze at, but tickets have been selling at a lower rate compared to 2019 and 2022. And this isn't due to a lack of star power on the card, but Forbidden Door 2 and All In are seen as bigger shows in the eyes of the fans right now. And finally, number 5, rest in peace, Billy Graham. Earlier this week, we lost one of the greatest to ever do it in superstar Billy Graham. I'll keep my words here short and sweet. Without Billy Graham, there's no Hulk Hogan. Without Hulk Hogan, there probably is no giant professional wrestling scene in the United States. So rest in peace to the superstar. Thank you for all you have done for our sport. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of The 5 Count, B-Roll, Jay. Thank you guys so much for having me back, and we'll catch you next time. And always remember, I've got till 5.
Yeah, you do. All right. Well, let's talk about what happened on the rest of Dynamite this week. And Dynamite was a loaded show as well as we're building towards Double or Nothing. How about that tag match with Orange Cassidy and Darby going up against Big Bill and Lee Moriarty? That was an interesting one to me.
It was
the tandem of Darby and OC.
Yeah, it was very interesting indeed, and there's something about like when they come off of house shows, like because I think the only times they've like worked together was at a house show.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then like
And
I
the
think the
chemistry
Dynamite,
worked, and it's
yeah,
like,
I
okay,
think the Dynamite after that they did something together as well. Yeah.
interesting. That kind of makes sense. So why not do it? And then they also had you had Jay White and Ricky Starks in the main event. Of course, we mentioned the Elite got back together. Uh, maybe the most important news of the week. This should have been our top story, B-roll. Karen Jarrett's in AEW now. Hooray! Oh, gives a shit. I'm sorry, but no. Not a fan. Never been a fan. Never will be a fan. But also, though, we got to talk about this. How about that no DQ match or no holds barred match? Pinfalls count anywhere in the arena between Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong. And yes, it is our match of the week this week. I love this match because I felt like it was a throwback to watching some old hardcore matches in the WWE. Man, like this was just fun. It
Yeah,
was
I'm a little surprised that because I mean we watched together,
yeah.
which we don't always do, but this time we did. I said they're working their way outside, and
Yeah.
then they kind of swerved for a little bit, and I was like, okay, I was like JAS is gonna jump first, but lo and behold, no, oh no, it was Jericho got
Adam
jumped by Adam
Cole,
Cole, baby.
baby. Yeah, he jumped Jericho because remember he was banned from the arena, but they didn't say anything about outside the arena. So
Yeah, which I don't know if you caught a Rampage. It was they did a segment like that as well, where Chris like shared words on what happened, and it cut to Adam Cole, and he's like, "Oh, so Jericho rips up the band, right?" He was like, "That's exactly what I was waiting for." And it pans out, and Adam Cole is right by the door to the arena, and he starts walking in.
nice. But this was a fun match. Like I say, I love anytime they fight in the concession stands. It just warms my heart. I don't know. I just
Yes,
love fighting in the concession
still
stand.
waiting on the hot dog, but
Yeah,
I'm
hey,
not
beer
bitter.
man. But we did find out a lot this past week on Dynamite Rampage as we are going on the road now to Double or Nothing as we have more matches to announce. Of course, we know the 4 pillars in the main event and the tag team championship. We mentioned earlier Anarchy and the Arena is coming back, but what about this one? To kick off Dynamite too, they had this segment with Wardlow and Christian Cage, and they will be meeting for the TNT title in a ladder match. I don't know. It feels kind of weird to me, honestly. Like, because it's just like I feel like you went from like 30 miles per hour to like 120 miles per hour all of a sudden. It's just like okay. I mean,
Yeah, and like, does it just mean that like ladders are going to be involved, or is the like traditional sense of where you have to?
no, it's gonna be like a ladder match. You got to climb it
Yeah,
to get the championship. Although there probably be some all sorts of shenanigans or whatnot in this, but
yeah.
I don't know. I always, I like one-on-one ladder matches, but we'll see. We also did find out we are getting an AEW Women's Championship match between Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm from the Outcast.
Little surprised by that because I
Yeah.
thought we would get more of like a trios match, but
Hmm.
I am okay with the world title being defended. So because like I've said, I think ultimately this is all leading to our first ever AEW Blood and Guts. I think
Possibly, yeah.
I think the girls are going to have a War Games match. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's a fair assessment. And speaking of the ladies, also the TBS title is going to be on the line as well. As Jade Cargill will defend against Taya Valkyrie, who has been a bitter rival of hers over the past month. And we also found out the Blackjack Battle Royal will take place for the AEW International Championship.
I got a
Uh,
bold prediction on this.
What's that?
Super bold.
Okay.
So Orange Cassidy is defending the belt on Dynamite next week against Kyle Fletcher,
Uh-huh.
proud member of the United Empire.
Okay. Oh my gosh, is this going to be a Will Ospreay thing?
Yes, it is.
You love him. I love him too, but he's not going to be in this battle royal, brother.
Will Ospreay's in the battle royal as a surprise.
Yeah, you never know, man. Hopefully I eat my words.
History, Forbidden Door.
Yeah, but I feel like that's already set up with Kenny going against Will Ospreay. I feel like,
but history from the past.
Well,
Orange Cassidy versus.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because that happened last year. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But also this week, NXT had a lot going on in it as well. That women's championship title tournament continued on. We did find out some information about Battleground. And of course, you had the Noam Dar Supernova sessions with Dragon Lee. And your favorite tag team, the Creed Brothers, was in action as well on this NXT.
You want to know something interesting? They actually grew on me a little bit this week.
Really? Well, that's kind of comforting. That's good to know. But hey, the big thing going on right now in NXT is the Women's Championship Tournament. And we now have a better look at that graphic as we're down to the final four here. We got Tiffany Stratton against Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyrie against Cora Jade. Okay, bottom line, Cora Jade and Roxanne are going to be in the finals, and Cora's winning it. That's my prediction. I mean, I feel like Cora's long overdue, number one, and number two, it makes sense for their story. So,
I agree.
Yep, there you go. And hey, speaking of Battleground, we do get some more matches for that. Of course, we've got the women's title tournament final will be there. We did find out that Dragon Lee will challenge Noam Dar for the European Cup from NXT. How about this one, dude? Ilya Dragunov against Dijak. That's going to be insane.
That's gonna probably give off like Sheamus, Gunther vibes.
Yeah, it's probably going to steal the show for sure. And we did find out we're getting a three-way for Wes Lee's North American Championship with Tyler Bate and Joe Gacy challenge. And of course, the NXT Championship is going to be up for grabs too, with Carmelo Hayes defending against Braun Breaker. But it should be it's shaping up to be another amazing show that's going to happen coming up here. So looking forward to see what's going to happen in Battleground.
I do think we will see a new NXT North American champion.
Oh, very interesting. Well, time will tell if that does in fact happen. And hey, all right now, the Super Juniors tournament is happening on in New Japan, and there's a lot more going on in New Japan as well. So it's that time of the show. Let's go to our good, close personal friend, the CDC, with our New Japan report.
Greetings from Earth. I am the CDC 83 from TikTok. Or you can call me Corey. Either one's fine. And I'm here to bring you the current standing and results as they are at the time of this recording for the New Japan Pro Wrestling's Best of the Super Junior 30. As you can see by the list here that I'll keep up, we're going to start with the A block. The A block has been pretty crazy. This is where the best matches probably have happened, but that's kind of an understatement to the totality of this entire series so far, because really there hasn't been a bad match. If you have access to New Japan Pro Wrestling website at njpwworld.com, I highly recommend going and checking it out. If it's a paid for thing, then great. If not, at the very least, you could check out night one for free on there, and it's absolutely worth it. 2 nights remain in the rest of this series for the A block. The last two will take place on the 21st, and then their last of their block matches will be on the 23rd. The B block will have the last of their matches on the 24th. Yes, this entire series up until the 21st has been nothing but Super Junior matches, top to bottom, 10 matches each time. The only difference is on the 23rd and the 24th, there will be an undercard of actual tag matches that take place instead. Current standings within the A block, it is clear that there is a 4-way race to the end. They are going back to the old system with this, in case you're unaware, and that's basically where the top 2 from each block will continue on. The overall top from A will take on the runner-up in B, and vice versa the other way around as well. As we see by the current leaderboards, the current standing on a 4-way run at this point is Leo Rush, Hiromu Takahashi, Taiji Ishimori, and absolute fantastic, worth every single penny to pay for this, to watch every one of his matches, Mike Bailey, aka Speedball Mike Bailey. While the A block does have its current top 4 standing, they are all still in danger of actually still being in a position where they may not go forward. At this point, any of the 10 is going to possibly move forward. However, there is still the possibility that TJP and Teton could possibly come in at the very end. Unfortunately, Kushida, Taguchi, and Doki, as well as Sho, are just out of the running at this point, just based on point standings where they're at, plus the matches that are still to happen. The interesting thing here is that Leo Rush and Mike Bailey still have a match to come. There's a possibility that they may knock one or the other out at this point. Again, still 2 nights to go, so lots of possibilities here. But right now, these 4 at the top 10 with the 10 points are the ones to look out for. Moving on to the B block, this is actually where a lot of interesting and unexpected things I feel like have happened on here. I don't think it's anybody's surprise that El Desperado is topping again at 10 points. He's been a favorite, and a lot of the fans do want to see him actually make a run and actually win the whole thing, and it's still a possibility that he may. The other surprise are the other 3 that are also sitting upon 10 points. Yo and Robbie Eagles. Now, Robbie Eagles does not surprise me too much. Yo does surprise me a little bit. He has taken on a little bit more of a unique and different turn with his character. I have not been a fan of his since they split him up from Roppongi 3K. He just has not grabbed me. I did not care for his comeback with his whole thing. He started to come out of his shell a little bit when he was teaming up with Leo Rush. But this tournament, I've found myself actually enjoying him more in the ring than I have in quite some time. Also, he's a 10. Why? Other people still listed on here, Francisco Akira is the only one that's still possibly in the race. However, it feels like a long shot at this point for him to actually still crack to be one of the top 2 that go forward. Everybody else, unfortunately, in this block has just mathematically been eliminated. In news outside of the Best of the Super Junior tournament, it was announced by Kevin Kelly on the English broadcast that there will be a new, easier accessible site for purchasing tickets for English-speaking audience members when they possibly come to Japan to catch a show. It is being run through and sponsored by Lawson's, I believe, was who they said. The full card for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Resurgence has actually officially been released. The main event will feature the NJPW Strong Women's Championship match in the 4-way. After the kickoff matches, the first and second match will feature women who will be competing for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. In the first match, we will see Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vacour. The following match will feature Momo Kogo versus Willow Nightingale. The winner of each of those 2 matches will go on to face off in the main event. The third match will feature a tag of TMDK members Bad Dude Tito and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Barbaro, Kev, Reno, and Virus. I can't pronounce the names, I'm sorry. The fourth match will feature a street fight between Fred Rosser versus Juice Robinson. The Strong Openweight Championship will be defended as Hikuleo faces off challenger and previous holder Kenta. Following this will be a 6-man special tag match featuring members of Chaos facing off against Jon Moxley, Shomano Uto, and Wheeler Yuta. In the last match before the main event, a number 1 contenders match for the U.S. title will take place as Hiroshi Tanahashi takes on a returning Will Ospreay. And that about wraps it for your New Japan Pro Wrestling update of the week. Again, I have been the CDC83, aka Corey. Goodbye from Earth.
Indeed. And that Resurgence show is loaded, and we'll have the results of that on next week's Pro Wrestling 60. And normally at this time of the show, we'd be going to our good friend Sienna with the Bullet Club report. However, she's been a pretty busy gal. We are so excited and proud of her as she is now working as a backstage correspondent / social media advocate, whatever you want to call it, for South Bay Championship Wrestling out of Santa Clara, California. And she got to do her very first show this past Saturday. And actually, we got some highlights from how awesome of a job she did. So check this out.
Girl Sienna Chanel, aka SC for short, and I'm here with Lean Mean Jake. Hey Jake, are you looking forward to tonight's show?
I'm pumped. I'm really pumped.
Awesome. What up, SCW crew? This is your girl Sienna Chanel, or SC here. I'm here with SCW superfan here, Johnny Tsunami. Which match are you really looking forward to the most?
So tonight I'm looking forward to the SCW World Champion, Chemo, defending the title against Alan Angels.
Chanel, or SC for short, I'm here with Blake Grayson. Hey Blake, I know this is your first ever debut here at SCW. How do you feel?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to finally be here. It's been a lot of talk, but I'm excited to finally show what I could do at SCW.
What up, SCW crew? This is your girl Sienna Chanel, or SC for short. I'm here with the current Silicon Valley champion, the EOC Big Fonz. So Fonz, I know you're going to have your title be defended against El Pistolero, and I know he has some few words to say. So what's your response to everything?
Yeah. Thanks to the SCW media crew for getting me up to speed. You know, I've been kind of off the grid, you know, doing what I do, which is putting in the work.
What up, SCW crew? This is your girl, Sienna Chanel, or SC for short. I'm here with Ender Moody. So, Ender, you have a biggest opportunity to face off against the current SCW Women's Champion, Brooke Havoc. How do you feel?
How do I feel? I feel a little pissed off. What is it, SC? Is that your name?
What up, SCW crew? This is your girl, Sienna Chanel, or SC for short. I'm here with Laura Frazier. So, Laura, I know that the last show there has been some uneventful moment where you lost the SCW Women's Champion against Brooke Havoc. How do you feel about this whole aftermath ever since?
Pretty disappointed, not gonna lie. I really thought I had it, but, you know, Brooke Havoc's a fierce competitor, so it is what it is.
I can totally understand. What up, SCW crew? This is your girl, Sienna Chanel, or SC for short. The line has been piling up. The fans are here, and I'm here with the world's freshest tag team as they're going to be facing off against the current SCW World Tag Team Champion, Los Huevos Gringo Locos.
Two crazy white boys.
That is definitely a mouthful.
Oh, for sure. So, guys, are you ready for this biggest title opportunity y'all gonna be facing?
I mean, we're always ready. Me and Fresh, we've been teaming for about a good 5-6 years now.
Yes.
The tag division and any company literally needs to be freshened up, especially for their champions. So, if they need some fresh champs, I mean, you're looking at them right here.
That's right.
That's right. So make sure to show up 5 p.m. at the door. 6 p.m. the show starts. We are here in less than an hour away.
Man, oh man, she is killing it. She did a phenomenal job. We couldn't be more proud of you, Sienna. And hey, go follow South Bay Championship Wrestling. It's a fun organization out of Santa Clara, California. They got some awesome stuff cooking right now. And hey, how about this? Seth freaking Rollins is going to be in a Marvel movie. Finally. I feel like this is long overdue. Like, you know, with some of the gear he's wore over the years, we know he's a big comic fan like all of us, but he is apparently is been filming some scenes for the new Captain America movie. It's also been reported that he is going to be playing a film role. Imagine that. It's part of the Serpent Society. I know you're a big MCU fan like me. What do you make of this, B-roll?
It's like peanut butter and jelly. It just feels so wrong to have these two together. But it's perfect together all at the same time.
This is true. And wait a minute, I don't see anybody. Somebody's that serious. Oh, wait a minute, it's John Cena. That joke will never get old. So John Cena actually made a rare appearance as doing some media for the new Fast and Furious movie. He was on Busted Open this week, and he had some very interesting comments and thoughts, as Cena always does, really putting over or your tribal chief Roman Reigns is like his greatness. And it doesn't sound like Cena's really going to be doing a whole lot more wrestling. Matter of fact, could be we saw a big match, John's last match at WrestleMania this past year. It's a possibility, but he just pretty much stated in the interview he would love to still go, but he just can't go like he used to.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see what happens with John Cena. He gets me tongue tied. He gets me the vapors. Anyways, let's talk about we talked about earlier the upfronts for TBS and Warner Brothers. Also, they have the upfronts for NBC and Fox. And what? They didn't mention the WWE at all? Huh? Well, there's a reason for this, folks. It's because these upfronts, they were really just talking about like their new shows and like TV shows, not so much the WWE, because they kind of classify that under sports and that programming. So that's the reason why you didn't hear about it this past week on the upfronts. But what we did find out this B-roll is the UFC WWE partnership. It now has a name. It's being called the TKO Group. I get it. I kind of like it. I can dig the name. What do you think of the name?
Yeah. Should put an R instead of the T.
You think so? Well,
RKO Group.
Oh, I see what you did there, and I like it. So, anyways, we now got a name for this super conglomerate. It's the TKO Group. And hey, this is an interesting story. Medusa's got a beef with Trish Stratus? What? So I guess Medusa come out and said like that she felt like Trish Stratus was essentially holding the women's division back, and that Medusa was such a trend center for what she did. Some of the things she says I agree with, but a lot of it I don't agree with. I feel like this kind of goes back to a story we reported a couple weeks ago with Chavo Guerrero and like Rey Mysterio, where it's just like this is a work essentially. I don't know why she's doing it or saying this, but I truly don't think Medusa thinks these comments. And she even said something to the effect of like, "Oh, when I dumped the title in the trash, that was like orchestrated or whatever." It's like, I'm sorry, I love you, Medusa, but I'm calling bullshit on that. But I don't know. This whole beef, it just I don't know, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
She's just jealous of Trish Stratus and her gravity-defying bosoms.
Well, Medusa's no spring chicken. Let's put it that way. That makes sense. I don't know. No, it doesn't make sense. Just go drive a monster truck or something. Anyways, it's that time of the show. Let's go to Jay with the dirt sheet.
You have Trey Miguel versus Chris Sabin. You have Nick Aldis making his, I don't know if you want to say pay-per-view debut or in-ring pay-per-view
Whatever, but yeah.
against Kenny King.
Yep.
You have the ABC connection going up against a tag team I have not heard of, but it is what it is. You have Joe Hendry versus Dirty Dango, The Design versus Sammy Callahan, Rich Swann, and a mystery partner, a number one contenders match. And yeah, loaded show, like you said.
It's going to be a great time. Well, it's that time of the week. Let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week.
Oh, the symbol of excellence. Hi, Brian again. Brian's House of Random in the car at the moment. Out running some errands late this evening. And yeah, here we go. Going to put in my segment for the PW60 Random Thought of the Week. Had this one just yesterday as of time of recording. And it's going to be a challenge, and I want everybody who watches this video to comment your answers. And that is this. Name your ultimate 4 horsemen faction. So, here's the catch. You must take 2 of the members, have to be 2 long-term members. Now, obvious that most answers, including mine, will be Flair and Anderson. The third person has to be one that was a horseman, but only for a short time. This could be Sting for just a short time, could be like when Kurt Hennig was there for not very long, something like that. The fourth one has to be somebody who was never a member of any incarnation of the 4 horsemen. Now, if you also want to add a manager, other than J.J. Dillon, you're welcome to do that. So, I'll give you an example of mine. And what come to mind with this would be, and again, it could be anybody from any period in their prime. So if you want to pull somebody from like the 70s in their prime and add them, go for it. If it's somebody from now, go for it. First group that come to mind, of course, is Flair and Anderson for the first 2. My third person, someone who was there for a short time, Kurt Hennig. Someone who has never been a horseman, but in their prime would have been pretty interesting, is that keeping that Minnesota connection, Ravishing Rick Rude. So, comment yours down below and let us know who would be your ultimate 4 horsemen of all time.
Woo! Hey, speaking of the horsemen, we did an episode on learning the ropes recently, which is available for replay on Cole TV, where we talked about the 4 horsemen. So, well, as you all know, we love our Wrestle Talk family. And who's our Wrestle Talk content creator of the week this week, B-Roll?
Yes. If you don't know this face already, DeMarcus, he is absolutely hilarious. Definitely keeps things on the lighter side of things, keeps wrestling fun. And yeah, he is just, honestly, go check out his stuff. You see the username there. Go check out his stuff. I promise he'll make you laugh. Yeah, can't say enough. He'll make you laugh.
He is our Wrestle Talk creator of the week. And we've been talking about all these amazing shows coming up to you, and it's all coming this Memorial Day weekend. It is a loaded weekend of shows from all the major professional wrestling promotions here in North America. You've got Impact Wrestling's Under Siege on Friday, Saturday's Night of Champions. Sunday, you got a double header going up against each other, too. NXT Battleground and AEW Double or Nothing. That is going to be interesting to see, but it's going to be a hell of a weekend. And we say it here all the time. It's the best time to be a professional wrestling fan. And finally, on a sad note, we lost one of the all-time greats this past week as superstar Billy Graham did pass away. Billy Graham, it's been said many times, and we'll say it again, he was 20 years ahead of his time. The way Billy Graham cut promos, his look, the physique, his whole character, everything. Such a trend center. There's so many people that came after him and followed after him, and he will truly be missed from the wrestling community and the rest of the world. But now he's up in that big squared circle in the sky. So rest in peace to one superstar, Billy Graham. Well, B-Roll, we've come to the end here. That's everything that pretty much happened in the world of professional wrestling. So, We got a big week ahead of us. Like we said, Memorial Day weekend is going to be some loaded shows. Cannot wait. And we'll be covering them all next week here on PW60. Until next week, I'm XLJ the OG along with Hero. We'll see you again on Pro Wrestling 60. Everybody have a great week.